Okay, so we're going to talk about inverse functions, and we're going to have the idea of a horizontal line test. And we've done line tests before. In algebra, we've talked about vertical line tests, and we use a vertical line test to determine if a relation is a function. So I'm going to draw in a vertical line and say, well, if I draw in a vertical line here, right? And it passes only one place on my graph anytime I draw in my vertical line. So I draw it in here, and then I go ahead and I erase this guy and say, well, what if I had it there? Or if I draw in a vertical line here, maybe, right, somewhere else, and I erase this guy and say, well, that's where my vertical line is going to be. And anywhere I draw that vertical line, it only touches the graph one place. And if that's true, then it passes the vertical line test, and this one passes. And when it passes, that means that it is a function because it only crosses the function once, or the graph once. But if I use a vertical line test on this guy and I draw it in here, well, it's crossing this blue graph twice. And since it crosses more than once, this fails and is not a function. Okay, so we've used vertical lines. And so, again, a vertical line, that's just a line that goes up and down. This is a vertical line. Okay, so that's how I do a vertical line test. We've done this before. When I'm trying to determine if an inverse exists, or if it is a function if I have an inverse, the way that I would do this is I would do a horizontal line test. So I'm going to change colors here and say, well, this is what a horizontal line looks like. I'm going to draw this down here. This is called a horizontal line. That's what this guy is, horizontal line. And for a horizontal line, it can only cross the graph drawn once. So if I draw on a horizontal line anywhere on this graph, regardless of where I move it, it's only going to cross the blue graph once. And so this passes. And so that means it's 1-to-1, and that the inverse of the relation is a function. But when I do this guy right here, I put a horizontal line on this guy, it's passing way more than once. It's passing 4 times there. And this one fails. And that means that it's not 1-to-1, and the inverse is not a function.